Valorant has a lot of guns. Some you'll love, some you'll hate, and some you'll probably never even buy.
Sorry.
But here's the truth, every gun in the game can be deadly if you actually know how to use them. So in this video, I'm breaking down one specific tip for every gun in Valorant, starting with the classic all the way to the Odin. And I'm not gonna give you just generic advice, these tips will actually make a difference in your games. So let's jump in, starting with a gun everyone has, but not everyone uses well, the classic. This free gun has low fire rate, bad accuracy, and the right click only works within hugging distance. These factors create one of the worst weapons for straight up engagements, but there is one saving grace, movement. When right clicking with this weapon, you can jiggle peek, jump peek, and even bunny hop around. So when you're left clicking, you can even swing super wide or crouch peek super fast. The secret to winning unwinnable fights with the classic is to abuse the mobility of this weapon. Make yourself hard to hit, and you might find yourself converting some ridiculous situations. Moving on to our first shotgun, the Shorty. The Shorty is so cheap, you should honestly be buying it even on gun rounds. As a secondary, it's perfect for catching people off guard, whether you're hiding in a smoke, tucked in a corner, or holding a tight angle. For example, you're in a 1v1 and need to jump down from A heaven on ascent, but you know he's just waiting for you to drop. You can pull out your Shorty and shoot him mid-air instead. Is your opponent on 1 HP and you want to secure the kill? Just pull out your Shorty and jump at him. Once you understand how many fights you can easily convert by having this gun in your back pocket, you're gonna wish you had it every round. Also, if you're using the operator, this gun is almost a must-have. After you shoot, the enemies will eagerly try to close the distance on you, making it an easy kill for you with a Shorty. And knowing the right guns to buy and how to use them properly is a huge part of climbing in Valorant. But mastering weapon choices and game sense isn't easy by yourself. Even if you're grinding aim training and watching videos, without proper guidance, it's easy to get stuck. And that's where we come in. My team of a dozen Radiant and VCT coaches have helped thousands of players fix exactly what's holding them back, from weapon mastery all the way to positioning and decision making. We're so confident you'll improve that if you don't gain at least 500 RR in 10 weeks inside the Immortal Roadmap program, you get your money back. So if you're serious about climbing, click the link below to book a free call with me or one of our coaches to see if we'd be a good fit. Now, let's move on to the Frenzy. The Frenzy is deadly up close, but almost useless at long range. You'll be spraying with it 90% of the time, yet most players don't bother trying to control the spray like they would with a Phantom or Vandal. Learning to spray with this weapon makes a huge difference, and in many cases, that difference is what makes or breaks you getting the frag. Even when running with the gun, don't just pull down, but actively try to control the recoil. You can hop onto the range and try it right now. Run around, spray, and actively control the recoil. You'll be surprised how much more consistent the gun feels. But hey, maybe spraying's not your thing, and that's where the Ghost comes in. My number one tip with a Ghost is simple: don't spam. Too many players tend to panic spray at close or mid-range, but this gun just isn't made for that. The Ghost rewards clean movement and composure, and in fact, the best Ghost players strafe, crouch, and reposition mid-fight, making them incredibly hard to hit. So instead of panic shooting, find the rhythm. Strafe between shots, focus on one-taps, and trust your movement to keep you alive. There's only one gun that can top the satisfaction of a crisp one-tap with a Ghost, and that's the Sheriff. Surprisingly, my number one tip with the Sheriff is to avoid one-tapping, especially on pistol rounds. Most enemies only require 2 body shots to kill, and meanwhile, they're trying to click your head with their classics and Ghosts that aren't even accurate at long distances. So you can use it like a mini operator. Hold a long angle, tap twice when they peek, then fall back and hold the next line. You'll get free kills this way, while players with classics and Ghosts are stuck spamming and praying for their bullets to land. Now, let's move on to our SMGs, the Stinger, possibly the best running gun weapon in the game. My advice? Never stop moving. The Stinger is accurate enough that if you mimic its spray pattern while running, you'll land your shots more often than you'd expect. Even at mid distances, fast AD strafing while spraying is effective. With that said, if you're fighting at long distances, you'll usually need to commit to a crouch spray to secure the kill. Otherwise, the accuracy just isn't there. The Stinger shreds up close and is often preferred over the Sheriff in pro play, especially on second rounds or ecos when you're taking tight range fights. But if you want something more reliable at medium distances, that's where the Spectre comes in. This might have been the first gun you fell in love with in Valorant. It's easy to use, solid damage, and it doesn't punish bad movement or poor counter strafing. But here's the truth, you should almost never buy this weapon. Outside of farming ecos, the Spectre gets outclassed in every way. Many players stay stuck on it early in their journey because it feels forgiving, but that forgiveness is a trap. It lets you get away with bad habits, and those habits can hold you back. The Stinger and Buggy are much more potent up close, and they're cheaper. And if you're taking longer range fights, the Bulldog or Guardian do the job far better. So don't lean on the Spectre just because your mechanics aren't there yet. Instead, try to use weapons that push you to improve. Now, if you instead want to get kills without needing to have decent aim, you should try the Bucky. Did you know that jump accuracy on this thing is insane? You should rarely be standing still when using the Bucky. By jumping around, you're harder to hit and way more unpredictable. And that's exactly how this weapon shines. Try holding close spots like under Ascent B lane, then jump up and blast them as they run through. Or hide behind the box and jump as they clear. Sure, it's gimmicky, but it works, especially when they don't expect it. Also, forget the right click. It was nerfed into the ground ages ago and it still hasn't recovered. Even at mid-range, left clicking does way more consistent damage. So stick to it and you'll land way more kills. Now, if you want a shotgun, but with more bullets, you should try the Judge. The Judge is perfect when you have a read, sit in a corner, wait for them to walk in, then mow them down. But don't just stand still. While holding, do small AD movements, not enough to make noise, but enough to make yourself a tricky target. The Judge stays accurate while moving, so you'll still land kills. And let's say the enemies do get Peeker's advantage on you, it's tough for them to line up clean shots because you're not a stationary target. So don't get caught out by standing still or getting pre-fired, but instead stay light on your feet and let the Judge go to work. Now, this next gun is a bit underrated. Even though it has an average fire rate and pretty low damage, the Bulldog shines in its burst fire while ADSing. When you use this gun, always aim to fight at medium to long range, where the burst fire shines. Focus on landing those bursts cleanly to take down enemies one burst at a time. The Bulldog rewards patience and crosshair placement more than straight up duels, so play smart and pick your shots. But if you'd rather go for one taps rather than bursts, the Guardian might be the weapon for you. We've all seen those insane clips of players standing out in the open and landing 5 crisp headshots in a row. But that's not the smartest way to use this gun. Instead, take long-range duels. Try to shoot 2 to 3 precise shots towards the head, then fall back or reposition to avoid getting caught. And aiming down sights with the Guardian gives you an edge over the Phantom and Vandal thanks to its superior recoil recovery, 0 first shot spread, a higher zoom, and a higher tap fire potential. There's no reason to fight up close with this gun because it's built for controlled, accurate shots at range. And against lighter buys, aim for body shots since 2 shots will drop players with light shields, letting you clear ecos quickly. And if tapping isn't your strong suit, the Phantom might be a better fit for you. The Phantom is the go-to for close range fights. With a 30 bullet magazine and the ability to kill enemies in one shot up close, it's a beast in tight spaces. But mastering the Phantom means using all 90 bullets per round smartly, and that means knowing where to spam common angles. For example, say you're holding A short on Ascent. Attackers often smoke short and run out B-Link, which actually opens up an easy spam spot for defenders. Spamming through the smoke when you expect them to push can net you free damage or kills. And during the A execute, most attackers try to close the door, which is another perfect spot to spam safely from behind the smoke. And on the retake, spamming through the floor of Heaven can net you chip damage or free kills. By constantly spamming angles with the Phantom, you don't just get free kills. You chip away enemy health so that when you face them in a duel, your shots will one-tap them, erasing the advantage of the Vandal's one-shot headshot. Now, if spraying isn't your style, that's where the Vandal comes in. The Vandal is probably the weapon that shows how mechanically skilled you are in the game, better than any other weapon. My advice for the Vandal is simple: don't commit to spraying. Unlike the Phantom, where constant spraying can make sense, the Vandal only needs one shot to kill, and this gives you the freedom to move with finesse and really show off your skill. The Vandal is perfect for players who have good movement and want to shine. So focus on high-level movement combined with precise bursting and tapping. If you're struggling with the Vandal, it's probably not your aim, but it's about how you move and time your shots. Now, moving on to our first real sniper, the Marshal. The Marshal is super cheap, but packs a serious punch. It's a sniper with a fast reload and a quick draw, plus you move faster than with any other snipers. My tip: abuse the mobility. Instead of always hunting for headshots, use its speed to no-scope, jiggle peek, spam smokes, and quickly reload. This gun shines when you play headshot angles where you can peek, shoot, then crouch and disappear, like the headshot box on Icebox A site. If you master this, you'll catch enemies off guard time and time again. And now, moving on to the most powerful sniper rifle, the Operator is the deadliest and most expensive weapon in Valorant. Its presence alone forces the enemy to use more utility and hesitate to take space. That's why hiding your Operator's position is key. If you're just posting up in the same spot every round, taking one shot and holding the line, you're wasting the weapon's full impact. Instead, try to move around as much as possible. Don't show yourself right at the start, but make the enemy wonder where you are. Then, after you fire, reposition quickly to keep them guessing. The best Operator player isn't the one with the fastest flicks, but it's the one who can take the most shots each round. And our final sniper rifle is the Outlaw. The Outlaw is the best gun in the game for taking down low armor or no shield opponents. It's so good that you should always be checking the enemy's econ and buying it whenever 3 or more players have under 3,900 credits. Even if you can't afford a Vandal or Operator, the Outlaw outperforms them against opponents without full shields. So if I survive the last round, I usually hand my teammate a Vandal and switch to the Outlaw myself. In ranked play, many players buy a Deagle second round, so if you win pistol, buy the Outlaw and capitalize on their poor spending habits with easy kills on the bonus round. Now, moving on to the Ares. The Ares is the weaker of the LMGs, but can still be deadly if you learn to abuse its fast fire rate and slightly faster movement speed. One tip I've got for you is to ADS as little as possible. While ADSing with LMGs helps with fire rate control, crouch peeking with the Ares makes you much more nimble and lets you pick off targets easier. Of course, ADS when you're spamming common angles, but most of the time, try to crouch spray. Use off angles and wallbang spots to maximize your impact with this gun. And now, let's talk about the final gun of this video and the biggest gun in the game, the Odin. The Odin is often called the noob gun in Valorant, but even pros use it a lot.
No blinker, I'm blinking bell, I'm blinking bell.
Oh, keep on crouch. No.
Oh my god!
My top tip for using the Odin, besides knowing every spam lineup, is to use off angles. In straight up duels, you're usually at a disadvantage with this gun, but off angles let you catch the first player peeking you off guard, which gives you time to wind up your spray. And unlike most weapons, where killing one player on an off angle often gets you instantly traded, it's really hard to trade an Odin who just holds down mouse 1. So instead of holding common angles, find long range off angles with strong angle advantages and watch enemies line up as they try to swing out to trade you. Alright, that's a lowdown on all the guns and how to actually use them right. Knowing when and how to utilize each weapon will unlock new aspects to your game. And if you're still not content and want to keep learning, watch this 46-minute guide I made on every mechanic in Valorant. Thanks for watching.